6. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, this question is to the Minister of Justice and asks, why will she not identify the senior Chinese border official with whom she met on 20 October 2013 and disclose the business that was discussed at the dinner with him that evening?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, it was a private dinner with friends. The Chinese guest is entitled to privacy and no business was discussed.
Order. Order. Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
When she spoke to the Prime Minister's office and the Prime Minister, did she provide it and him with all the facts and details so that he could make a prime ministerial decision on her behaviour?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Of course.
Wait.
Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why has she repeated denials in this House when she knows that she was enlisted specifically to address issue 2, page 2 of the 6th of August Orovida letter to the Honourable Tim Grosser and the Honourable Nathan Guy about border testing?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, the member is quite incorrect and he knows it.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why did she try and tell this House and the media and the country that she merely stopped off at Orovida on the way to the airport for a cup of tea, or later that she merely went to a private dinner when she knew at the time the name and the status of the senior Chinese official, and more particularly why she and he were at that meeting?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I actually had difficulty following what the member was saying. Perhaps you'd like to try it again.
I'll repeat it.
Order. That is the best way forward.
Thank you very much, Speaker.
Gentlemen, repeat the question.
Why did she try and tell this House and the media and the country that she merely stopped off at Orovida on the way to the airport for a cup of tea, or later that she merely went to a private dinner when she knew at the time the name and the status of the senior Chinese official, and more particularly why she and he were at that meeting?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I count at least 3 questions in that, so I'll just deal with one of them. And the one that I'll say is this: I don't try to say anything. Whatever I've said, I've said.
Order. Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Could I ask the Minister as to how does it work that she and her colleagues give Orovida $40,000 of taxpayers' money, and then Orovida gives the National Party $56,000. Was that for services rendered by her to that company?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I think the member's confusing me with himself.
Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, that cannot be a satisfactory answer to a serious question.
The difficulty was it wasn't a very satisfactory question.
Oh, who says so? Point of order.
Point of order.
Who says so?
I did.
Oh, well, point of order. If that's the case, you should have said so before I gave the Minister a chance to speak.
Member will resume seat.
Well, that sort of behaviour.
I didn't say the question was out of order. I said it was a question that was full of opinion and alleging money swapping from one to another. Order! If I'm on my feet, the Honourable Ruth Dyson will remain quiet. Order. So the question got an answer that addressed the question, not to the satisfaction of the member, I accept, but the question was addressed.
Point of order. Speaker.
Point of order.
Mr. Speaker, these documents categorically set out that Orovida got $40,000 from the taxpayer. Other publicity disclosed by Orovida is that they gave $56,000 to the National Party. What opinion about it? What is it about that as opinion? It's all fact.
Order. If the member has documents he wants to table, seek leave to do so.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order. Honourable David Parker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised that you made the comments about the Right Honourable Winston Peters' question. A question might be about something distasteful, but it does not make the question out of order in terms of standing orders, and your comments implied that it did.
No, I was quite clear, and I will relook at the hands, and I vote the member to do so. I said the question, I did not rule the question out of order. Quite clear about that when I spoke earlier. Question number...
Question.
Can I just understand what the fresh point of order is?
Sir, your response to the Right Honourable Winston Peters was that he couldn't expect an answer because it was a distasteful question. That's not the question. No, that's not the test for standing orders.
The member now is just trifling with the chair. I said that the answer that the minister gave addressed the question in the frame that it was asked. Question number 7.
Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order, Right Honourable Winston.
You don't mind if we have our quota of supplementary questions too, do you?
Order. If the member wants to take a supplementary question,
Well,
he raises...
of course I do.
Supplementary question.
Order. You're not treating us like the Green Party.
The member's been here a long time. If the member wants to ask a supplementary question, he rises to the feet and says supplementary question. Supplementary question, Right Honourable.
You were such a rush to move on. I know why. Supplementary question. Is she telling the House that she has disclosed everything to the Prime Minister's office and the Prime Minister? Because if that is the case, both she and he are involved, first, in a deep conflict of interest, and second, committing in her case and abetting in his case a corrupt action by the Minister.
Honourable Judith Collins. Either.
Well, Mr Speaker, that question is so loaded with allegations that are false, so I can't be bothered answering it.
Order. Question number 7, Ian Lees-Galloway.
Yeah, you go.
Question times are fast.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Mr Speaker, I invite you to reflect on what is clearly concerning you, which is a level of disorder in the House, and where that generates from. It generates from a minister who has simply, over the last 2 weeks, not been prepared to answer straight questions about her actions as a minister on a ministerial trip to China. I ask you, Mr Speaker, what is the remedy for the opposition when a minister will not answer questions about the business she does on a ministerial trip?
Order. I would have thought the remedy available to the opposition is the one that they're using. My duty is to listen very carefully to the question and then to judge whether I think the minister has addressed that question. Many times the answer that's given will not be of satisfaction to the questioner, in this case the opposition, and then the tactic that's been used is for the opposition to continue asking supplementary questions.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, you have previously ruled in this House that a minister is entitled to use the defence that answering a question is not in the public interest. I seek your clarification of whether the phrase "I can't be bothered" is the same thing as not in the public interest.
No, well, in my opinion it would not be. Point of order. Order. I'm trying to hear now a point of order from the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table a speech about clean and open government given by Judith Collins in Beijing.
Order. On the basis that that speech hasn't been made freely available, I'll put the leave and it'll be over to the House to decide. Leave is sought to table that particular speech. The Minister is saying that it's already been a published speech. Question number 7. We're finally getting there, Mr Lees-Galloway.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister for ACC.